Hello everyone, this is Linkimus Prime, and today we are celebrating Godzilla's 67th birthday. And so in celebration of that, we will be taking a look at the S.H.MonsterArts Godzilla 1989 BioGoji. And as always, before we look at the figure, we'll be taking a quick look at the box. Now this box is huge, so I am picking up my camera so you can get the full picture, but basically we get a nice picture of Godzilla at the front, we got Godzilla vs. Biollante at the top, we get the certification sticker, we get the Tamashii Nation's Bandai logos right there, we get the Godzilla 2021 and all that kind of stuff down there at the bottom. S.H.MonsterArts Godzilla 1989, bunch of words that I don't necessarily care about. On the top we do get some more stuff like Godzilla 1989 and S.H.MonsterArts and some open window detail. On the back we get some promo images, all that kind of stuff right there. Godzilla, all the things that he can do, a bunch of words that I can't read. On the sides we got Godzilla 1989 S.H.MonsterArts, and practically the same thing on the other side, but with a picture of Godzilla, and there is nothing at the bottom. So that is pretty much it for the box. And moving right along, here we have Godzilla 1989 out of the box, and spoiler alert, this does not have any accessories of any kind, but in this instance, this is the first time that I actually don't care, because this is one of the best S.H.MonsterArts Godzilla figures I have ever gotten so far. Now, no, that's not to say that I don't like the 2021 or the 2001. I love those, but this guy right here is outstanding. Now, because I'm not so upset about the accessories, the reason for that is because this doesn't exactly have a need for them, because you pretty much get all you need, which is just Godzilla. And, I'm not gonna say anything about an atomic breath piece, because the thing is because this figure is just a shrunken down version of the 1989 figure that came with the lights and sounds and all that kind of stuff. Now it does have similar articulation, and it's pretty much the same mold, but it's just smaller. Doesn't have the light up feature though, but that's fine. I don't feel like paying $600 for a Godzilla figure. But for a standard release that came out this year, this is absolutely amazing. I did hear that this carries out some of the older technology used in previous S.H.MonsterArts releases, so I think that's pretty interesting, and it holds up really well. Like when I took this out of the box, nothing fell apart, nothing broke or anything like that. This was a solid figure, so maybe that old technology that they used works just fine on newer releases, so that is amazing. Now there is one thing though, these dorsal plates are not much of a hard plastic, they're a bit more of a rubbery material, which is the only thing that I can really say is slightly upsetting, but it's not too terribly bad because they look fine, and I mean they're not as sharp in general, which that's accurate to the movie. So everything else, especially the detail, I love the paint right here for all the charcoal gray on the back, the ghostly white kind of light gray for the dorsal fins. Sorry, looks really nice. The teeth are the only thing I could really say aren't painted the best, but the tongue and everything on the inside of the mouth is painted nice. The eyes are also fairly decent. The nails, all that kind of stuff, all the dry brushing that was done on this, everything is absolutely outstanding on this figure. And now let us talk about the posability. So first we have a ball joint inside the mouth. It's actually a ball joint and hinge. It's very small, so I recommend being careful with this, but it does move. The tongue is on a little tiny ball joint, but I can't really get my finger in there to move that around, but you get the general idea. Just don't pop it up too far because it'll pop off the ball joint. So the mouth opens up about that wide and closes. The head right here is on a ball joint, so it can look down that far, up about that far, not too much because these dorsal plates. It can look side to side relatively well. There is another ball joint right in here, which allows it to look down a little bit more, and then also one in here. So he can look down really, really far, which is really nice. So that's about it for that general area. He can crunch forward about that much, but I don't recommend going down all that much, and he can rock side to side just ever so slightly, but remember, this is a remold of that figure with lights and sounds, where he didn't have much range in this area because of the electronic feature on the inside. So, but that's fine. You know, I'm not going to really be posing him with his ab crunch as much. So, honestly, not the biggest deal. The arms right here are on a ball joint right up here, so they can go out about that much. Yeah, not too much, but pretty decently. There is, you know, they can go all the way around, but I'm not going to do that because, you know, I don't want to risk paint chipping. The bicep can swivel ever so slightly right there. He has a double jointed elbow, which doesn't move the greatest, but it works decently. And then the hand, or the wrist I should say, is on a ball joint. There's nothing really in the fingers, but that's fine. The legs right here are on a ball joint, and these legs are much more easier than the legs on the 2001 Godzilla figure, which I highly appreciate. They're not loose, but they're not overly tight, which, you know, that's a good thing. But the legs can move out about that far, which is really nice. They can kick forward about that much and back about that much. I mean, they can kind of go all the way around, but not exactly. And then there's also a knee bend right in here, which works decently, not the greatest, but decently. And they can also swivel right here as well. And then also, well, that's another thing, the leg at the top of the leg can also swivel just a little bit. And then the ankle, which is actually the most disappointing part right here, is on a ball joint, but it has like not as great range. So that's a bit disappointing, but it's not the biggest deal. I mean, you could still get him into some slight wide stances, not, you know, too wide, but, you know, still wish that there was a little bit more range in that ankle pivot, but not too bad. The tail, which is great, has a bunch of segments on it. So there's a segment here, and then it kind of stops a little bit near the end of the tail, which that's okay. There is one loose part right here, because this part is kind of loose, so that's not a big deal. I could probably try to fix that, but basically, you know, the tail can be straightened out. This is actually a really long tail. I mean, like, check that out. That is impressive, but you know, it can move up about that much. I don't recommend moving it up too far. It can move side to side about that much, and about that much, and, you know, they can all rotate on the little ball joints and hinges that they're on. So range and posability of this figure is, in my opinion, what it should be, but also pretty great at the same time. I just wish that the ankles had a little bit more range, but yeah. And because of that articulation, you can really get some nice looking dynamic Godzilla kind of poses. So that is really good. And now for comparison, here we have the Godzilla 1989 BioGoji next to the S.H.MonsterArts Godzilla vs. Kong Godzilla. Here he is with the S.H.MonsterArts Kong. And for my last SH comparison, the Godzilla 2001. And finally, here he is with his NECA counterpart, the NECA BioGoji, which is way bigger than this guy. It's kind of hard to believe that these are literally the same exact character, well, not character, but same exact version of Godzilla from the same movie. Honestly, I love this figure, but I'd have to prefer the proportions of the S.H.MonsterArts. But this figure right here has a little bit more of the proportions of the suit, which I appreciate. This one looks a little bit more realistic and stuff like that, which is a pretty good thing. But honestly, in comparison with all the other figures that I've shown, this one is one of the smallest ones that I've had. And here we have my entire S.H.MonsterArts collection so far. And for my final comments on this figure, I would highly suggest picking this figure up at a decent price though. Because here's the thing. This figure I bought for a little bit more than what it was intended for. The intended price is around like $95 to $100. So that's like the appropriate range of where I'd like to find this figure and where I'd suggest you guys would find this figure for. Don't go anywhere above the like 100 to 120 range. So like just try to stay within like 95 to 100. That's my best recommendation. But honestly, I think this was highly worth what I got it for, and I think it will be too if you guys ever pick this particular figure up. But you know, when it comes to proportions and all that kind of stuff, it is a great figure. You know, the only things I could really point out that are slightly disappointing are mainly just the lack of ankle pivot. But that, you know, it may be just the lack of like posability in the torso area. But like I said, that's justified because this is a scaled down remold of the you know, the lights and sound Godzilla 1998 figure. So, or 1989, sorry. So that, you know, not a big deal. But, you know, highly suggest getting this figure if you can find it. But anyways, guys, that is about it for this review. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and happy birthday to the Big G himself. Peace.